Hi guys, Jessica Beck here with IELTS Energy TV. On today's episode, me and Aubrey are going to talk about a very common IELTS topic. The idea of being on a team or in a club compared to individual competition. Guys, this idea comes up all the time on IELTS. So we are going to brainstorm ideas and give you vocabulary to talk about these ideas on writing task 2 as well as on the speaking exam. So guys, you definitely want to take notes today, and I would love to hear your ideas in the comments below. Guys, remember, you can get your free estimated IELTS band score and resources that I made just for you as ex-examiner of 14 years. I did this for you guys. Go to allearsenglish.com/IELTS quiz. All right, let's get to the show. Hello, Aubrey. Good morning. How are you?
I am great. How are you doing? How was your weekend?
Oh, right. It's Monday. Yeah, good. Oh my gosh, I really did have a great weekend because James had a baseball game Saturday, and it was fun. It was fun. It wasn't cold and rainy, which is a win in Portland.
Right, we'll take it.
Because those games are miserable, and the coaches always choose to go an extra inning, like even if all the parents are frozen to the bone.
Do they still play in the rain? They still play when it's raining?
They have been.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because it's Portland, so if you're going to
otherwise
baseball,
you would never play, right?
You would never play.
So that was awesome. And then Sunday, I went to a friend's house because she is fully vaccinated. I'm one shot in, but because she's fully vaccinated, she felt safe inviting me over. And I was like the first friend to be in her house. That's the first time I've been in a friend's house without masks in over a year. And we ate sushi and we watched the Oscars.
Oh, that's awesome. Ooh, fun Oscar party. Even if it's 2 people, it's a party these days.
It felt like a party. We were celebrating. It was awesome.
I'm so excited for the vaccine to get everywhere, to get to all of our listeners, all of you guys out there. It's coming. It's going to happen. I can't wait. I can't wait.
The sense of relief I've heard people have when, like me, after you get the vaccine and you get to participate in a club you like, perhaps, or maybe on a team. Segue alert. That's what we're talking about today. Aubrey, why did we even think of talking about clubs and teams today?
Because we just got some really great news from Clubhouse. They just changed. You guys know, if you know about the Clubhouse, it's always been really exclusive, where you have to get an invitation. And then you get in and you only have 1 or 2 invitations to give out. So many of our listeners, so many of our followers wanted to be in there to practice speaking and couldn't get an invitation. We're waiting for an invitation. We just found out that they're now allowing us to invite 1,000 people every time we host a room. So this is huge.
That's tons of people.
It's tons. So basically all of our listeners, all of our fans who want to be practicing English with us on Clubhouse can now. You don't have to wait for an invitation. We can get that invitation to you. So I'm so excited that we're on social media. We can get this out to everybody. So this is big. This is the big win. I'm happy.
Yeah, guys, if you're wondering how you can get one of these invitations, following us on social is the first step, because that's where we make all of last minute announcements, right? We record the podcast a couple weeks in advance. So you're not going to get the most up-to-date news because we have to record and edit and do all that stuff. But if you follow us on social media, then you can find out about Clubhouse invitations like this. And I am certain, especially once Clubhouse comes out on Android, that we're going to have IELTS speaking practice rooms. It's going to be great. So Aubrey, what's the best way to get one of these Clubhouse invitations so our IELTS students can practice their speaking with you?
Yeah, so this morning I posted about it on Instagram, and I put it in our stories, because you can't click on a link from Instagram, but in the stories you can swipe up to go to a link. So yeah, if you're following us on social media, you already know like whatever the date is today, right? 2 weeks ago. So that's the
Yeah.
thing. Make sure you're following us. And every time we host a room, which is every Thursday, I'm going to post the new link because it'll be another 1,000 invitations
That's
every time. So
amazing.
like Wednesday or Thursday. So because every Thursday, Lindsay and I, and then hopefully soon, once it's on Android, Jessica and Michelle, we're in there practicing speaking, talking about the All Ears English podcast for that week. And like you said, we'll be able to soon start doing IELTS once we have more people in there. So yeah, definitely follow us on social media. Be sure you're following us on Instagram, All Ears English, and you're going to get the news. You're going to have the access to that link.
Awesome. Yeah, find us everywhere, guys. We're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course,
everywhere.
Clubhouse. We're everywhere, guys. And that is, we're gonna get to the IELTS stuff, I promise, guys. But I just want to acknowledge that this is one of our big focuses this year at All Ears English is building community, providing support for all of our wonderful students and listeners like you guys out there. So stay tuned, guys, because Clubhouse, this is just one facet of this huge community that we are working on building right now. So stay tuned. Okay. So clubs and teams. Now, this topic can come up in a variety of ways on the IELTS exam. A very common IELTS Task 2 question, and we're going to talk about speaking as well in a minute, but a very common IELTS Task 2 question asks you to decide which is better for kids or maybe even adults sometimes if you're like at work. Cooperation and collaboration, right? Working together, or competition. Like, which one should be encouraged in children, for example? Which one do we learn more from? Which one has more benefits? So there's a variety of ways that this comparison comes out on IELTS. And it does come back to this idea of teams and clubs, right? Because that's how we learn to cooperate with other people. So
this is such an interesting question. I want to know really quick, Jessica, what do you think? Do you think, especially for kids, like collaboration or competition, which is better?
Oh my gosh. I am always going to choose to do things on my own. I've always been that way because I'm like, if something has to get done, I want it done well, I'll just do it myself. Working in groups as a student, I never liked that because the other students would not work as hard. And so I would do things anyway. But that is a nature that I have to fight against because I do realize how important the community, the connection, the collaboration is. And that's kind of my struggle is to do that because I know it is beneficial, right?
I find myself creating competition between the twins when they're doing homework.
Oh no!
Like, oh, let's do this. And I'll be like, all right, who can get this done first? Like competing against each other.
Oh my God, but that is a bane of parents everywhere. That's how we motivate kids. It's like,
totally.
And it could be just competition with themselves, and then we'll give them a prize, right? Like,
yeah, totally.
If you get out of the car faster than you did yesterday, you'll get a Hershey's Kiss. Now, that sounds ridiculous, but for parents out there who have to wait 10 minutes for a child to get out of a car, right, this is real.
If you bring your shoes with you out of the car, you get an extra Hershey's Kiss. It's so true. It's so true. Well, this is going to be interesting because you're right. This can come up anywhere on IELTS, right? IELTS speaking. There's a good chance you could be asked if you were part of a team or a club in high school, what benefits came from that, right? And part 3 too, maybe at work, why teams and committees are formed at work and how effective they are, things like that.
Oh my gosh, guys. And that would be such a great opportunity to bring in some amazing, like modern sort of corporate vocabulary, like emotional quotion, right?
Ooh, yes.
Isn't that's a thing? We talk about that in our business course, right? So that is a valued soft skill, we call it, right? That is a soft skill that employers look for today, precisely because the ability to collaborate and work in teams seems to be so much more vital today than it was in the past. Um, why do you think that is, Aubrey? Why do you think this ability is more valued today?
I think the sort of top-down leadership of the past is going away,
Yeah.
and people are realizing everyone in my company has all of these different skills. And if we're able to maximize that, then together we grow, the whole company grows. So instead of, back in the day when we weren't worried about people's emotional responsibility, emotional quotient, we were missing out on a lot of the skills people had that they
Totally.
could bring to a team, bring to a committee, and then together they have better ideas. They're able to do things quickly and effectively. And you're seeing the results in the business world, and we see how much more is done more quickly if we focus on
Exactly.
everyone's soft skills and all the other skills.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly it, right? That's a great example right there, guys. A spontaneous, natural example of a real speaking part three answer, right? So often you are asked in part three to compare something in the past to now. And so this corporate atmosphere is definitely changing, right? So, like Aubrey said, in the past, I think competition was more of a motivator, right? So if you do better, you get that bonus. If you sell more, you get that promotion, right? But luckily, employers realize that that's not the most productive way to run a company. You're going to do a lot better as a company if everyone's working together, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
there are so many advantages and disadvantages to both sides. We've certainly talked about some great modern examples of why working in a team is great, right? Professional purposes, productivity increases, efficacy increases. But what about competition? Let's think of two advantages of encouraging competition in kids, because I think it's politically incorrect to encourage competition now sometimes. Like kids sports leagues, they don't want to keep score, which is ridiculous. The kids keep score anyway. So
Totally.
let's be politically incorrect for a moment. Why is competition healthy as one is growing up? What do you think?
Well, it definitely increases engagement is what I've seen, right? It's the
Totally.
same whenever if you're like on a league sports team, if you're showing up just to play and no one's keeping score, some people wouldn't go at all. And you
Yeah.
just kind of lose interest. You're going to stop playing quicker. Whereas that engagement is there if you're playing to an end goal, you're playing
Yeah.
for that competition, and maybe there's a tournament bracket at the end. And it's the same with
Yeah.
kids in school. It gives you this end goal. It gives you a very clear thing that you're working toward. And that engagement, that motivation, this intrinsic motivation to
Totally.
be proud of yourself, to
Yeah.
accomplish something, even if that is, being better or faster at something than someone else. However, that's able to be worked out, that creates so much more engagement.
You know, this is something that I noticed. This is the last thing I'll say on the topic, because you and me, Aubrey, we could talk about this for so
Right.
long. So we have so many personal examples growing up playing sports and being on clubs and everything and being very competitive. I think both of us could say
Yes,
that.
indeed.
And then also what we observe in our children. But just real fast, just came to mind. So in James' baseball game that he had a couple days ago, the team ultimately won, but James was disappointed in his own performance, and so this led to an interesting struggle within him. I could see him like kind of deciding, like, do I feel good or not, right?
Oh,
And that is a
interesting.
very interesting thing to experience as a child, right? And sort of work on that as you're growing up. Like, you can feel good about your team and the people around you. It's not just about you, right? It's about the team you're on. So dealing with, like, maybe if you make a mistake, but still being grateful for the people around you that also that did well. Right. And that's a
Yes.
very interesting. There's so many emotional lessons that children learn being on teams, I think.
And just to that skill of not getting discouraged and
Yeah.
letting that ruin your performance, right? Just last night I was playing on a league
Exactly.
volleyball team, and there was one of the guys on my team wasn't hitting very well, and he was really getting in his head, is how we say
Yeah.
it. He was getting really frustrated with himself, and he started playing terribly. And that is something
Yeah.
that if kids can learn that skill, to even if your performance isn't what you'd like it to be, to stay positive, to know you can do better, to still be excited for your team and for other players that are doing well. That is
Totally.
such an important skill in life, in
Yeah.
work, right? To celebrate
Exactly.
others' successes and to not get so discouraged that it negatively affects your performance.
Oh my gosh, and that is such hard work, isn't it? Like,
Yes.
and students, you'll experience this on the exam as well. How many people have we talked to who have taken the IELTS exam and made a mistake in listening? Maybe they zoned out for a moment and they missed like 30 seconds of the audio and they just gave up after that. Like I've seen students do
Yeah.
this as well in person, right? Like you could see them get frustrated and then just like, oh, I'm lost. It's all over. And then it pretty much like ruins their performance for the rest of the day,
Yep.
right? And that's something obviously that we cannot let happen in life or on IELTS, right?
Yeah,
You
no,
can't
it's a
give
really
in
good
to
point.
that.
You can't give into it because if after even if you've missed 30 seconds, it's not too late to just like shut it off, come back, be like, all right, I got this. But that's what's hard. And that's a skill that needs to have been practiced because it's not for
Exactly.
the average person. That's not your first instinct. Your first instinct
Totally.
is to be discouraged and maybe give up, right? But
Yep.
if you're practicing that skill on teams and clubs and on committees, then you can just come back and start fresh and do the best you can from there on out and not let it affect you. But like you said, it's hard work. It's not
It's
easy.
hard. We all have this work to do on
Totally.
ourselves, guys. Put
Totally.
in the work. And on that listening note, guys, if you have strong strategies that you've practiced, you won't get lost, right? That's the point of the three keys system. You've heard students, if you've listened to this podcast for a while, you've heard students who admit that they got too nervous on listening and they lost a couple answers, but they came back to the system, the three key system, and that's what got them on track again. And then they ended up getting an 8 in listening. Like you could miss a couple and come back strong, right? If you have
Totally.
a strong system that you've practiced. So, guys, remember to follow us on social media so you can stay up to date on all of the exciting innovations that All Ears English and IELTS Energy is bringing to our community this year. Instagram, Twitter, we said it, you know, all
Right?
the
WeChat,
socials.
LinkedIn, all of the socials.
Yeah, and in China as well. WeChat,
Yes.
Billy, we're there now. We're everywhere,
Yes.
guys. So follow All Ears English on social media, and of course, subscribe to this podcast. Share it with a friend. All right, everyone. Aubrey, thank you so much for talking today.
Yes. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.